Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Happy Stamptember. Today I get to share with you the Trinity Stamps stamp set that's available as of today for Stamptember at Simon Says Stamp. This is the cutest stamp set. It's called Little Christmas Tree. Oh my word, there's so many ways to decorate this, and I just had to light it up because I love light up cards. So here is a close-up look at that Little Christmas Tree stamp set from Trinity Stamps, exclusively available at Simon Says Stamp for the Stamptember event. You can see it's got presents, it's got bows, it's got a little candy cane, ornaments, lights, all the things that you can put onto the tree. It is so super cute. So I'm going to stamp out a bunch of things. I really wanted to go like a little bit retro Christmas, a little, I don't know, pink Christmas tree. I love pink and red for Christmas so much. So I had to go with my style, but you really could do so many fun things with this stamp set just by the way that you color it. So I'm going to stamp this up in some Copic friendly black ink or alcohol marker friendly ink. I love this ink from Dare to Be Artsy, and that is my go-to ink when I'm going to color with alcohol markers. So that's what I'm using, and I'm going to stamp these out, but I'm also going to stamp some extras of some of the pieces as well. Now, there is currently no die set available for this. I'm actually not even sure. There might be a die set available at Simon. I did not get the die set, so I'm actually going to end up cutting this out with my Pick Scan mat for my Cameo silhouette. So that's what I'm going to do because I wanted a bunch of these tiny bows and tiny candy canes, and I just couldn't imagine trying to cut them out. So that's what I'm doing. But check out the Simon Says Stamp Shop. I have this linked for you in the description box below so you can go get your own stamp set. They sold out so fast last year, Trinity's set. So make sure if you want this set, you don't put it off because it would be really sad if it's something you love and you weren't able to get it. So here is my pink Christmas tree. I'm using RV02 as my lightest color, and I'm bringing in RV04 as my darkest. This is a pretty dark and very bright marker, but once I started, I just had to go with it. So I'm going to soften it out by going back over that bright color with my RV02. And sometimes, like when you first start, you're like, I do not know. But I just kept going, and I ended up really loving the way this card turns out. So I just went with the pink tree. Now, on the tree skirt here, I am coloring every other space red, and then I'm going to leave the other ones white. But in the end, I didn't really like the way that that looked, so I actually go back and color each of those spaces red. So you'll notice a difference in that and the finished card. And for all of the like little puffy garland on my tree, I'm going to leave those white as well, but I'm going to dress them up. So you'll see that. So here I'm just adding like a little shadow for my white with my N1 marker. I'm going to do the same thing to the tree trunk. I don't know that I show that though, because I figured a pink Christmas tree is going to be a fake tree. It's not going to have a brown stump. It's probably going to have like a plastic or metal type thing. So I decided just to leave it white. And it is kind of going to be covered up with some decorations. So the last little step here in coloring is to add white highlights with a white gel pen. I love that look. And now I'm taking all of my candy canes. I stuck them down to some like paper tape. And the reason why is I didn't want to cut these out with my silhouette when they were colored, because if it somehow messed up, I would have been so sad that I spent all that time coloring and they got messed up in the cutting process. And so I'm coloring them as they're stuck down to this paper tape. It just kind of helps hold these tiny things in place. And I'm coloring out all the bows. Now, originally I thought I'm going to put bows and candy canes on my tree. Like I'm going to go with a theme, but I didn't actually do that. And here I'm just showing you how I added a third color to those bows to really give it a shadow. And then of course, the white gel pen. I've got to add that to these little pieces as well, and I think it just makes them really pop. Okay, now before I decorate the tree with my stamped images, I'm going to dress up my garland, and I am using some rock candy glitter. You can see how much I love it because I have this giant bottle, and I use it and you just almost can't tell. There's so much in there. So I'm going to put it all over this tree. I did those 2 rows, and then I'm just going to do 1 row at a time, and I'm just using my liquid glue. You could use glossy accents. I don't know, I just grabbed the glue. It dries clear, so I thought it would be fine. I also put it on the bottom of the tree skirt. So now I'm going to set that aside to dry. I'll pour my excess glitter back in to use for another fun thing. And here it is once I think it's like 90% dry here. I just love that sparkliness on there. So now it's time to decide, candy canes or bows. Here's a look at the candy canes. I decided that I liked the bows better. So you tell me in the comments below, do you like the candy canes or the bows better? I liked the really stark contrast of the red bows. So you tell me your thoughts because I would love to know. I can just make another tree. All right, for the background of my card, I decided to use my retro Snowflake 6x6 background stamp. It's got that retro vibe, so it's going to go really well with my tree, I think. So I am going to stamp it onto some red cardstock, which I treated with some powder from my Cottontail powder tool. And then I inked up my stamp with clear embossing ink. And then I'm going to stamp that down. You can see I put my paper face down onto the stamp because it's such a large stamp. It's just easier to do it that way. Then we're going to sprinkle on top of this clear embossing powder. So this is just going to be a really subtle detail, but it's going to be nice and shiny and just look really cool. So once that was covered with powder, I heated up one little corner and got that melted, and then that was the place I decided to hold on to, and I've sped this up for your satisfaction. Look how cool that is. It's embossing so fast. I love it. Okay, so then I just buffed off any excess powder that might be left on the paper, and then we're going to move on to the next part we need for this card, which is the sentiment. So I have a 1-inch strip in black here. I'm also going to emboss the sentiment. Really, embossing is the thing that got me hooked on card making. And the very first card that I made was a Christmas card, and I had to emboss my trees. That's what I did. Do you remember those pads that were like color box and they were like 4 different colors on one pad? Yeah, that's what I got. Mine was blues and a silver. It had a silver in it, and I stamped it and embossed it with like iridescent powder. Like it was like clear powder with glitter in it. That was my very first card. And it was very ambitious, and I did not know you needed an embossing gun. So let's move on to this card. I stuck down the Merry Christmas, and now I'm just lighting everything up to create my light up card. I'm going to light up the star on the top of the tree. Now in the stamp set there's an angel to go on top of the tree, but I'm going to use some star embellishment. You can see there on the right corner. I had one red one left, but I had plenty of pink. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and do a red star for contrast, and then I just die cut out a star from a die in my stash, and I'm going to put that on the back of my, like, it's almost like a gem, my star gem there. And I've poked a hole where I want the light to come through, which is going to be right at the top of the tree. It's going through my background, my tree, and my little layered paper star. Also, I did die cut the star from white glitter paper because I didn't have the right color of pink glitter paper, and then I was able to just color that with my same Copic marker that I used to color the actual tree. It comes out a little bit lighter, and I'm okay with that. So I've glued my star in place. I've made sure the holes are all lined up, and then I can glue on that little gemstone there, and the hole is going to be right in the middle behind it, but we've got to let that dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to color up some presents for the bottom of the tree. So I'm going all like super duper matchy matchy. That's just how I roll. I like matchy matchy, but You do what you like and color these whatever makes you happy, or like whatever mood you're in. You might want to go with like a really traditional look here. Maybe you want to do like a turquoise tree. That would be super cute. That's like the Trinity Stamps color. I might have to do that. All right, so there's my presents. I'm going to set those aside. Everything is dry now, and I just want to figure out where to stamp the word push. And so I'm kind of feeling where that's going to go. And then I did stamp it with my Hey Cupcake stamp set. There's a little stamp in there that's like a cursive-y word push. We also at Trinity Stamps have a set called Paper Crafting Magic that has one that's more like a typed font, but I thought the push would like be kind of nice and hidden on the tree there. Sorry, I didn't get the stamping of that recorded. Sometimes I think I'm pushing record and I've actually stopped recording, and that's what happened there. So now I am taping my little one light from Pear Blossom Press in place, and then I need some foam tape that's the same thickness as my one light, and that's also from Pear Blossom Press. It's called the world's best foam tape, because it is. It's the same thickness as my light. It's super squishy, foamy goodness, and it's repositionable, which you will see me do before this card is over. And then I now have everything in place, including my little presents on either side of the tree. And then it's time to mount this onto my card base, which is 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. I'm going to have a nice black border all the way around. And there you see my skinny little strip at the very tippy top was kind of poking out. So I peeled it up, flipped it around, and hopefully it will be less visible at the top of the card, but I am going to do a little trick to kind of help hide it, so you'll see that. I had to scoot my cardstock over onto the white part of my mat so that I could really see the sides of my black card to get that centered. So now I'm just kind of trying to push down that foam tape a little bit more, but what I'm going to do is bring in my R29 marker, which I used on this card, and I'm going to color the top of that, or the side of it really, that foam tape, so it's just a little less visible. And there you see I've got my star all lit up. It's so fun. Now I wanted a white insert on the inside so it could write. I might maybe even have to write in my message. There's a hidden message on the Christmas tree, because I think that scripty word push is quite hidden, so somebody might really need to be able to have a hint to go find that, and then they'll be so surprised when it lights up. All right, so those candy canes that I did not use on the outside, I decided to make a cute little border on the inside of the card for something fun there. So I just glued those in place to finish up my retro Christmas tree light up card. I absolutely love how it turned out. I was, not sure about a few steps along the way, like the coloring of the tree. It's so bright pink, but I think it turned out fun. So let me know your thoughts, especially candy canes versus bows on the tree. And I will see you all again very soon with a new video. So if you're new here, feel free to subscribe. If you can't wait to get your hands on this stamp set, I have it linked for you below, and I'll see you all again very soon. Happy stamping! Bye!